Okay, we managed 15 seconds that time. It's gonna get to the point where it's
No,
gonna
I need to see the
5
intro
minutes.
jingle. Welcome to Hotfix. This ain't Hotfix, this
Well,
podcast. Podcast, yeah. Sponsored by, what was it, dickhead.com. Sponsored by Bantanamo Bay. Oh, Jesus. Where the Archbishop of Banterbury's in session. Why would he be in session? He's the primary agent of banter. And
the primary agent.
Right, we're introducing a new thing on Pubcast. Ask us a question in the comments below on this video, and we will answer it on the next Pubcast. Anything, gaming, anything you want, just go crazy. Because
it can be a sensible question. It can be about life, death, and the universe, or it could just be something stupid. Whatever you want, just
give it us.
Yeah, just ask. Just ask away.
Inject it into our bodies.
Ask away, like the sweetest.
Inject it.
No.
Why is it with injections? It always comes back to heroin.
I don't know.
You do heroin, bro.
Well, it's the only drug I know that you inject.
Yeah,
I don't know if any that you
inject anything. If you like liquidized it down and just went straight for a vein.
Liquid cocaine. Can you get liquid cocaine?
Liquid cocaine.
I'm assuming you probably can't.
Just mix it with water.
Yeah,
and then just inject it.
Dilute it, or does
if you injected all of it?
All the cocaine. Just I've got 10 grand worth here. I'm just going to inject it.
I don't think it's that dear.
I don't know the relative value of cocaine. To be honest, I know very little about drugs. Until recently, I thought you smoked mushrooms, not ate them. So it's like you just grind it all up, don't you? You just grind up everything. It all goes in through the nostrils, is what I've learned. It's either needle for heroin or everything else goes in through your nose. So it's a needle for heroin, ain't it? What can I say? I've not done that many drugs in my life.
But it's simple. You get a spoon, you heat it with your lighter, so it's nice and liquid. You get your needle, you take it out, and then you stick it in your vein.
Yeah, so it is a needle. I was right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it just made me laugh when you said needle, like some sort of fucking freak. Needle. I've had a needle today, although today's Thursday. You can't see, but I had a needle. And
it's Saturday.
So I had to go to the hospital. I'll start off with my tale of bullshit. So I had to go to the hospital because it's just a checkup for Crohn's. I have to go every few months. And I went in, and they're like, hello. And they never said that. I walked in, and they went, hello, Tom. And I said, hello. Now, it's bad when the receptionist knows your name.
Holla!
Holla, dollar. I don't know. They know me by name because obviously I'm a regular. Although it's been 6 months since I last went. Anyway, go in and see the old Dr. Reno, and he's like, yeah. How's about get some blood tests done? And I'm like, yeah, blood test, man. I have them done all the time. But he's like, hey, let's have more blood tests done. I'm like, oh, that's a 4. I'm like, right, because I also signed up to some sort of thing where you I'm contributing to a study, that's it. I was going to say a drug trial, but it's not a drug trial. It's just they need more blood. I'm like, yeah, more blood. Anyway, I went in, and this is the best injection I have had. The injector, the doctor of nursing that injects the injection, well, she takes the blood.
The
failure botanist.
the one now?
You shouldn't have started this. You started it too early. Hang on. The failure botanist comes in. Oh, no, she doesn't, because it's actually there's 4 chairs in this room, and you have to take like a little, you know, them little tickets that you take like when you wait for the meat counter at, Tesco or something. You take one of them, but you're like,
it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, but it still is. Yeah,
you get chopped up.
And I'm like, I'm 72, and it was on 58. I was like,
oh.
So I sat down. A nurse came over and said, would you like to fill in a questionnaire on your experience today? I said, yes, I would. So I started filling that in on my experience today, which is quite good. Anyway, get into the failure botanist office. Sits down and she says, I walked through the door and I said, hi, I've got two forms, but I just need this one doing and all the items on this form completing. And she went, okay, what's the other one for? I says, that's for another date, not for today. I've got to have some in a couple of weeks' time, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay. I says, this one's for the B12 test and the blah, 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 blah. I won't bore you with all the names of the tests. And she says, have you had quite a few blood tests then? I says, about 50. She went, I said, it still doesn't get, it's still not very nice. And she went, she did me, bro, and I never even felt it. And I looked right at her, and it was in my arm, and the blood is pumping into the collection things because they like pop it off.
Yeah.
Like before, they used to stick it in and then do it repeatedly, but they just stick it in and like pop it off now, like pretty quick. So I'm sitting there, I'm bleeding away, I'm dying, bro. I'm thinking this carries on for any longer, I'm just going to die because there's so much coming out.
All the blood's just.
But I looked at it, and I'm like, I never even felt that go in. And she said, "But I said, wow, I said something really condescending, like an absolute prick. I was like, you did a really good job there. I never felt that at all." And she looked at me and was like, "Well, I have been doing it all day." And I was like, I sound like a prick. I've wanted to.
Yeah, but the thing is,
yes, you're doing a good job, aren't you?
I never
felt it though.
I've not had anywhere near as many blood tests as you, but I have had quite a few. And not once have I ever had someone where they've stuck the needle in and I've not noticed. I've always felt it.
I totally didn't.
Always...
I know, but I've had so many. I think
I fucking hate needles as well, which probably doesn't help. But it's
Say
like
it again.
I don't like them. I don't like needles. They're horrible. But it's like
they're only little things.
I've never once sat there and be like, "Oh, I didn't notice that." I've
a needle
always
in the eye,
noticed
though.
every single time.
That's a whole different ball game.
Every single time.
Anything near the eye. Like I've had. Where have you had needles? Up the arse. I've had needles in the arm.
Just arm.
In the belly.
Arm, pretty much every time.
Belly gut needle.
That sounds horrendous. Like your stomach's full of muscle, ain't it? If you do
mine
stuff
is
with
yeah,
muscle,
it's solid,
it's like
solid fucking 8-pack.
Well, even a fat lad's got a bit of muscle under there. But it's like
fat lad.
Even a fat lad's got a bit of muscle under there. So and muscle,
right, anyway,
is like you don't want to cut that. That's bad. That is bad. Ain't
All
it?
this
That's
came from a needle. Yeah. Anyway, after I had my needle, I went and had a massive KFC, so I feel bad. So moving on, Mr. Kirioth.
Massive kitty.
What games you played this week?
Disgusting. Nothing involving KFC. I've been old school this week. I played Sins of a Solar Empire again for the first time in ages. And I had completely forgotten. Well, I hadn't forgotten how much I like that game, but I've forgotten how easy it is to get drawn into it. Where you start it off, because it is not a quick game. Not even slightly. Even if you're on like a small system, which I wasn't. I set it to vast.
No, it's
so that it's like I think it's 155 planets, but it's 1 star. So there's no jumping from star to star.
I hate that. Still... I always hated that, the jumping around.
Yeah, no, I prefer one. I prefer one system. But I went loyalist, went TEC loyalist. So you get that massive dreadnought ship with the huge. It's like a floating base, basically. It doesn't do a huge amount of damage, but you just can't kill it because it's got so much health and it's got so.
The one with the big
defensive
shield
abilities.
buff thing, and all that shit.
And it's amazing how quickly you fall back into like a certain build order for that game, because the way I've always played that particular faction is everything I get to and take over gets massively fortified and massively boosted economy wise, and then I'll move on when it's more than paying its way. Like when I'm getting proper income out of it, and it's got a couple of star bases there, which are also providing income because I've been able to trade on them. I ended up I played it for about 5 hours to a stupid hour of the morning just because I got caught up in it. And by the time I finished, I'd taken over. I think I had maybe about 30 planets or so. It wasn't a massive, like a really huge expansion, but every single one of them was so heavily defended that if anyone jumped in, they got fucking annihilated immediately and just died. And I had I tend to have the AI on hard all the time, but I don't put them on aggressive hard very often, just because they're not actually that aggressive. It doesn't work very well, the aggressive hard AI I've noticed in that game. Because what it's supposed to do is not do so much defense. It's supposed to just, build a load of ships and come at you. Except it doesn't really do either of those things. It doesn't build a load of defense, and it's so aggressive that it splits its fleet into like small chunks. So it produces loads of ships, but it produces them really quickly and sends them fucking everywhere. So that AI always gets wiped out because it doesn't have the strength.
Got no force.
It's got no force. It's got no concentrated force, and that just makes it a bit gash to play against, because it's like you come across its fleet and you're like, oh wow, 20 ships. What am I going to do about this? And then you wreck them, and then it turns out it sent 20 ships to like every planet anywhere near it, and then it's got no standing fleet, so it just gets ruined. You can just roll.
Are there any mods for the game which just remove the unit cap?
I don't know. I don't think so. I've not come across any that do.
When I play Sins, what would always get to me was you get really powerful, don't you? You get to the point of you can't lose and can't win. I mean, when we played it multiplayer, it would happen quite a bit. So you get like, we both have like you have like an entry planet, don't you, into your home system, basically.
Yeah.
And there, it would be so defended. The only way to break it would to be to send your entire fleet, but of course, the other guy would have his defenses and his fleet, and it's like,
Yeah.
there was no like. What always got me, there was no middle ground. There was no like place you could fight without the defenses. You could do cheap shit. So I remember like jumping in missile frigates, firing all the missiles off, and then legging it, and I kept doing it, and it was really cheap. And I think it killed one of your space stations or something. But it's like, that game is good fun to play single player, not so much multiplayer, which is a shame for it, because what you do on obviously with single player is you build your big fleets, don't you? You go around like wrecking people, and it's great. Multiplayer though, as soon as like, especially with TEC, as soon as you've, I mean, what's one of the upgrade lets you have double the number of fucking star bases, don't it, or something?
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about the Loyalist faction, because you can fortify your planet so heavily. It's just ridiculous. In a way, I think the TC Loyalists are a bit broken, just because their massive the massive sort of dreadnought ship is very, very strong. Like, it can kill the TEC Rebel dreadnought just by virtue of...
That's the big gun, ain't it?
Yeah, just by staying alive longer. It doesn't. It's not got more firepower, but it's got so much more health and armor that it can just tank its way through all the damage. And with the double star bases and the ability to massively boost your economy so that you get a fraction of everyone else's trade, it's like you just end up being a massive powerhouse. But at the same time, for me personally, I tend to find that if I don't do the whole expand slow but fortify everything route, it's kind of easy to fall behind, because the drive really for them is to get the economy up and going, because then you just become a powerhouse of production. It's like you can just start hurling ships out of every system, and you know, people can't keep up with your rate of production because you can just afford to keep going and going and going. However, the game that I played was like, I came very close to losing very early on because I got targeted by two enemies at the same time, and I only had one fleet. And because I've been trying to aim towards the economy side of things, and it was like, oh shit, okay. I barely defeated one fleet and managed to jump across. And if they weren't getting attacked from the other side, I would have lost against the AI. I would have just got killed because I just didn't have the numbers to deal with it. But if you can get away with having a smaller fleet and just building up your economy, you get to the point where there's like this explosion of production where you can suddenly start slamming military research stations all over the place, and your military research goes from practically nothing to, I've got a dreadnought. And then you end up with a dreadnought, and you can usually get it before everyone else. And so it's there, and you look like you haven't got a fleet, but you've got your dreadnought, so you can take out a fleet by itself. And if you've got to the point where you're starting to slam down space stations all over the place, then you've also got systems where they jump in and you've got two star bases, and a dreadnought. And most of the time they just turn around and leave, which is sensible, but it's like...
No, I never really liked the whole thing where the economy's endless, but the production can't be.
Yeah, because I would prefer if you could just keep producing ships.
Like thousands of ships.
There probably is. There probably is a mod for it, but I just haven't really thought to look for it, especially since there's stuff like the Star Trek mod and stuff.
Yeah, Armada 3, yeah.
It's really fun to play. I'd like a Star Wars one. I'd really like a 40k one. I know there was one for a while, but I don't know if any work's been done on it. I think
there's a Battlestar Galactica one for Homeworld 2, the remastered version, with Battlestar and base stars and like launching the ships out of them. Yeah. I think so. I don't know whether it's finished, but I know it was in development. I always used to play as TEC, and all I used to do is I would get very minimal military research, and then I would have maximum economy research all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like, so you can settle the different planets, all of the maximum mining efficiency, the fucking the political shit for the habitat infrastructure. So you've got like loads of population, and I would be building shit crap like corvettes and fucking missile frigates and nothing amazing, but I just have so much.
Yeah,
and like the other ships coming around. Like, I mean, I used to play and you'd see like capital ships would be like really high level from other players, but mine wouldn't be that high level because I didn't really take that part. I wasn't really like I don't know, it was strange. I like playing it for the just I could build a load of stuff and I couldn't lose.
Yeah.
I knew I couldn't lose. It's just like, well, you can't beat me. I can just build so much shit. You're dead. And like you just said, when you throw in the Dreadnought, when the expansion came out, it was just, well, which expansion was that? Diplomacy?
That was
no, there was because there was entrenchment.
Yeah, there was entrenchment, diplomacy, and
rebellion.
Rebellion. That was it. Yeah.
Which brought the big super ships in, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't used to do TEC. I used to do Advent, and I really liked Advent. But it sounds bad when Rebellion came about. Every time I fought TEC, especially TEC Loyalist, Advent were just a bit woeful, really, because they've got the culture.
Times of war are upon us.
The culture's not so great. It's just not as good. It's not as good as a strong economy, and it's not as good as outright being able to just nuke planets like the Visari do. So you're kind of like, what? My strength here is not as strong as the other strengths, and I really like the design of the ships, and I like the design of their dreadnoughts, but they're just not quite strong enough to compete against other dreadnoughts. And I know that in a way it's like, well, maybe their dreadnought is not meant for competing against other dreadnoughts, but at some point,
don't they have the one that converts planets instantly or something?
Yeah, and it's like, it sounds really good, but the thing is, when you convert in a planet, you've then got to rebuild all of the infrastructure. You've then got to rebuild everything around it, and it sounds like a great ability, except
I'm not going to allow you to convert my planet. If your thing jumps in to my planet, I'm coming, boy. And then when my Titan turns up, which is a combat one, and yours is there.
I don't know why I've taken to call them Dreadnoughts. It's because they are Titans, but for some reason I've always thought Dreadnought, not Titan, but I don't know why. But yeah, I don't know. I do still really enjoy Sins, but I don't play anybody near as much as I used to. And it was purely because I was going through my list of games, and I was like, I've not played that for ages. Like, I
should play Armada 3. We ain't played that for a while. We should play that. It's funny.
I think it's been updated as well, hasn't it? I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll have to look at it.
Yeah, that was
it's so OP.
I mean, in a way, it's fair enough because they're the Borg. But on the other hand, they send one ship into your system, and you're like, for fuck's, I'm dead. I'm literally dead. I can't do anything. What do I do?
You're there with like 3 enterprises and 50 ships, and then the diamond jumps in and it's got like 50,000 health. So you're like, what? And it's like doing average fucking phaser damage of 500.
And the thing is, it's not even a cube. It's just some shit. It's just some shitter ship.
It's that big triangle thing.
Yeah.
It's like, no. If the cube ever does turn up, well, you've had it.
The bloody, what is it? The
tactical
the
cube.
Sphere as well. If that turns up, basically, if any Borg ship that is bigger than a little, it just looks like a little. It's called a tomb ship, isn't it, or like a tomb something? Or
like the little scout ship. Yeah, like a little.
If it's anything bigger than that, you're fucked because you just turn up and start wrecking you. And it's like, I've got a massive fleet, and now I'm dead.
Building Janeway because I thought Janeway had the answers, but she just got fucking ruined. So I had loads of Janeway because she could disable the Borg for a few seconds with one of the beams on, while the Intrepid class ship could.
Yeah.
And like I built loads of them, and I'm like, I'm disabling them, but they didn't really matter because they had so much health, and then they just regenerate because they're the Borg, and then they just kill you, and then they just assimilate you.
I'm sure,
like, no.
Isn't it the Klingons have got the boarding parties where they can take over a ship?
You can't take over a cube.
I never. That's the thing. I remember when I was playing them, I was like, boarding parties. It says it takes over the ship if it dies whilst you've got a boarding party on it. Takes over the ship. Didn't fucking work. Never worked. Didn't work at all. Every single time it was like, there's boarding party. Oh, it's dead. Where's my boarding party? Oh, they died as well. But you still lost half your fleet. You've killed the Borg thing. You think you're going to get it, but then it just goes, no, you can't take over a Borg ship. You're an idiot. Get the fuck out.
The best thing in it, though, is Picard's quotes, man.
When he's like, I love the fact that they've got the quotes from the actual show in there. It's so ridiculous. And the thing that I really like about it is it's kind of laughable in almost every way because for some reason, because the nature of the game is that you have to build a massive fleet and go to war. Starfleet, it's like a military production powerhouse, and it goes to planets, and it's like, remember the Prime Directive? Yeah, okay. Well, we're just going to literally cleanse the planet of all life. We're going to bomb it, and you've got Picard in the Enterprise firing nukes at a planet, bombarding a planet. And it's like, Picard, what are you doing? Picard, stop it.
Well, old Picard. You can't mess with him. That's
God.
great. PC gaming though
Quality.
for the win. Mods for the win.
Mods for the
Talking
win.
about mods, this links into my other game I played this week. So I played Morrowind with the Oblivion Overhaul mod. Now, no, Oblivion Overhaul. No, I've made that up with the Morrowind Overhaul mod.
Morrowind with the Oblivion Overhaul mod would be how would that?
There is Skywind, which is Morrowind remade in the sky. Yeah. Remember when that was a big thing? And now
yeah.
it's just,
oh no, no. This...
Yeah, so this is a mod which, it's not a mod, it's a collection of mods which upgrades Morrowind's graphics, upgrades its textures, upgrades its sound, its effects as well. So it puts things in like depth of field, motion blur, sun rays, god rays, whatever they call them, and all that stuff, and extra lighting effects in it. There are moments where this game looks immense. Like you look when you spawn in Sidenine, I've probably butchered the name of the place. You turn around and look off the dock, and it is like, holy mother of God! It looks so good. Obviously, some bits look not that good, but it's a game from 2002. Animations are obviously not changed, so it's really clunky, and it's Morrowind, so it's going to be clunky. But yeah, what this was about is I don't know, it just tickled my fancy. I was like, you know what? I think all of the stuff on Fallout 4 that I was seeing, and I just thought, this is not very good, Fallout 4. But I know what is good. Morrowind. And I'm going to go and play Morrowind. And I loaded it up, and I'm like, oh, doesn't support the resolutions, obviously. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll get the graphics mod for it, because I used this before and messed around a bit on it. Anyway, it was a bit updated since last time I used it. Installed it, actually installed quite easily. I've got the Steam version of the game, and you download an auto installer, which just runs you through all the installation. There's some like weird things you have to do, like turn off the Steam overlay else the game breaks and things like that. But beyond that, it's pretty much just click next, next, next sort of thing. And then you can set up your options. There's a very comprehensive graphics tool. So you can like change everything, like your draw distance, your absolutely everything. Like obviously, you know, given today's machines, you can just have like crazed draw distances. You can change like the density of trees. You can upgrade like Balmoral, which is one of the towns, to have more trees in it and different stuff. But I wanted to keep it as close to how it was. So I didn't want it, because there's another mod called the Morrowind Rebirth mod, which is like a balance mod, like a community balance thing. And that changes stuff. And I think it adds new quests in and things like that. I didn't want that though. I wanted to play it how I remember the game. And I streamed this over 2 days last week, and I want to play it again. It's really enjoyable, but it's really old school. I mean, just to give you guys an idea, in case you don't know what Morrowind is, if I compare it to Skyrim or even Oblivion, when you attack in Skyrim or Oblivion, if you're a melee character, you've got stamina, haven't you? So you can swing, swing, swing. If you've got some stamina, then you'll do damage. If you've got none, you do not a lot of damage, but you still hit every time you swing.
Yeah. This
isn't like that. This is like an old school RPG combat engine where you're rolling these bad boys dice every time you swing. So I might have full stamina. I swing to attack and I just miss because I've rolled a 1. And I swing to attack and I just miss. And I swing to attack and I just miss. And then I hit and it doesn't do a lot of damage. Then I hit and it doesn't do a lot of damage. Then I hit and it dies. The next monster, I hit it immediately, crit it, and kill it straight away. So that's what it's like in the combat, which it's old school, yeah? The best thing about Morrowind, though, the absolute best thing about this is it's been a long time since I've felt the immersion that game gave me. And really, that game, even though with the graphics mod in it looks better and all of that stuff, the immersion it gave me, just because it doesn't hold your hand, made me realize how gaming, especially RPG gaming, has gone a bit crap recently, with maybe a couple of exceptions. But even things like The Witcher still puts an icon on your map and says, go there.
Yeah.
This doesn't. This says to you, there are 3 people in Vivek. You need to find them and ask them about information I need. So you go up to the first guy, the first woman. It says that she's in one area, like the Temple of Wisdom or something. She's not, though. She's actually in the library. But you'd only find this out by going to the temple, finding where the hell the temple is in the massive city of Vivek, speaking to people who then say, oh yeah, she's in the library. You then go to the library, speak to her in the library. She then says, we can't talk here. Follow me to the back of the library. You follow to the back of the library. She then says to you, I can tell you what you need, but you need to find a book. The book's not for sale in the city because it's outlawed. There might be some way you can get it from. I don't know. All right, then. So then I'm thinking, maybe she's got the book. I found her room in Vivek, broke into it. She didn't have the book. I'm like, maybe it is in Vivek from what I've been told, but it's in a place which is very secure. because it's like banned. It's like a banned religious text which they don't allow. The Dunma don't allow. You know, it's like that's banned. Anyway, move on to the next chap, an Argonian, somewhere in one of the districts. Turns out it's in the sewer. It's a member of the Thieves Guild. People don't like it. It won't tell you what you want to know until you go and do something with a tax collector who's trying to find this Argonian to collect taxes, but it doesn't want to pay taxes, does it? And also arrest it, probably, because it's a criminal. So you have to find this guy. You don't know where he is. He's in Vivek. So you have to speak to people, ask them about him. It's very old school in that way, because when you talk to somebody, you get a massive list of all the conversation topics that you've got. So it could be like, what do I want to talk to this person about? You could talk to them about something that offends them, and their persuasion bar goes down. So obviously when it reaches 0, they just don't like you. Because you spoke to them about something. Like, why would you speak to somebody who was part of one religion about another religion? It might offend them. You've got all of this going on. Anyway, I got rid of the tax collector after I found him, told the Argonian, of which it then said, yeah, here's the information. Thanks for helping me. I could have shopped the Argo. I could have told the tax collector where the Argonian was. Oh, it's in the sewer, by the way, if I wanted to, but I didn't because I was feeling nice. Then I went and found the other guy who I had to speak to. And that was just, this is just like one, I mean, it's part of the main quest, but there's so many other quests on the side. And it's a game which doesn't hold your hand. It's just like, right, I need you to go and find a necromancer's skull. It's in an ancient tomb, an ancestral tomb. It's somewhere south of this place. That's it.
Good luck.
That's it. It's like, we'll go and find it then. And it's not like it's an insanely big world. It's fairly big, don't get me wrong. But it's not like, oh shit, I'm going to have to look for hours. No, you probably have to look for 10 minutes or so and you'll find the place. But it gives this sense of adventure like you don't really get in games now, because they seem to be worried about making the player run to a destination. So it's like, have instant travel, instantly get over here. But what they fail to realize is by running from A to B, you meet kinds of people and organic interactions can happen, which obviously not are organic because they're not organic because the devs are putting them in. I mean, Morrowind, you can get the Silt Strider, which is the fast transport mechanism, but you can only get it from Silt Strider ports. You can't just get it from anywhere. So if I want to go from Sidenine to Balmorra, I can get on the Silt Strider, pay 30 silver, or whatever it is, and then just appear at the city, right? That is fast travel. Or I can run. Now, if I chose to run because I wanted the exploration, I meet a woman on the road who is asking me if I've seen a bandit because she's fell in love with this bandit. She's clearly off her head. You can try and find the guy, of which she says she's been mugged. So you know he's got a jewelry, or you can just kill her and take her what she's got on her body. You could pickpocket her. You could like persuade her to do what you want to do. Carry on running down the road and you meet somebody else. Or you see like a door, so you go into a cave. Or you see a shrine. Or all of this stuff that's what I really enjoyed out of Bethesda fantasy RPGs. And I just never got out of Fallout 4. That's why I went back and played Morrowind, and it just reminded me how great it was. I was like, this is really fucking good. Like, I could go and play this game all day.
It sounds bad, but that feels like a fairly rare thing to happen with new games at the moment. I don't know if it's just because there are games that I'm not that bothered by, or whether it's like an actual decrease in I don't think it's a decrease in quality. I think it's just the style of games has changed significantly.
It's the instant gratification thing, I think, which is an issue. Where Morrowind, okay, it's old, so you move unless you don't have a lot of speed, which you might not have if your character's like my guy, who's obviously a heavy armor wearing madman. He moves really slow, crushingly slow. So if you want to run somewhere, which you would turn on sprint to run. He doesn't sprint very fast, but his stamina bar drains dead quick. So if you do get attacked, can't hit them because you have no stamina. You've got such a negative modifier to actual hit, you can't do it. So it's like, okay, you've got to realize that it is old in that way, which in today's day and age, you would be like, oh, come on, this is so boring. I don't want to keep running. You know, where's my mount where's this? I mean, another thing I did in this game, I went into Balmorra. The sign I was born under, because it's Elder Scrolls, you pick your sign, was the shadow. So I can make myself invisible once a day for 60 seconds. So I go into the armor shop because I remembered that there's a really good set of armor in there hidden behind the counter. Orcish battle armor, which is really fucking good because you can just wear any armor, right? I mean, but you get skill ups through actually being hit. So I got my heavy armor on. If they hit me, then I'll get heavy armor skill ups and I get more effective at using it and I can move a bit faster and absorb more damage and all that shit. It's like whenever you move in this game, you need to spam jump because your acrobatic skill will go like because it's like old school, like people. The stupid tales of people who like leave a clicker on or something, just spamming space all day. So they got maximum athletic skill, or just sprint into a wall non-stop for 10 hours, and so and all that shit. But yeah, so I went into the shop. There's a guard and there's the shopkeep, and I went into a back room, cast invisibility, walked back out, walked behind the shopkeeper, and looted the armor on the floor. I'd instantly given myself awesome armor. I put it on in the shop just to take the piss, and then walked out. But the thing is, because it is thefted shit, it is. If I
you know what,
get caught,
I saw this. I saw what happened. It was.
Well, I'll explain what happened. So I went into another city. It was a Pelagrade, I think it was a Pelagrad, and I was up to my usual tricks again, trying to find stuff to borrow. And I was in this guy's shop, and I just tried to rob a helmet or something, but he caught me, and he was like, "Hey, your crime has been reported." I was like, "Shit, my trick didn't work." A guard got me, and was like, "Pay your fine, go to prison, or resist arrest." And I was like, "You don't really want to resist arrest because the guards will all attack you. Then that would be really bad." Like in any city, it was relevant to that faction, and it was the Imperials, so they're everywhere, and it's like, oh god, Jesus. The fine was only 5 silver or 5 copper, and I'm like, "Hey, I got like thousands. It's all right. I'll pay that." And I just carried on walking away. But of course, I forgot, didn't I, that I was wearing thefted Orcish armor, which of course has been reported to the authorities. And then somebody in the chat was like, "Lol, sty, press tab," because I didn't realize because I wasn't in combat or anything. I was just like in a city. I pressed tab and my guy's naked. I'm like, holy mother of God! So I had to reload the game in.
Because I joined the stream just as you were dealing with the guards, and I remember thinking to myself because I knew that you'd nicked the armor earlier, and I was like, would that remove the armor? Oh, I'm sure it wouldn't remove the armor because they don't know. And then like a couple of seconds later, you're like, oh shit, oh the armor's gone. Because I remember that like similar things that still happen in Skyrim, where like if you nick stuff and then you get caught by the guards, if it's robbed, it goes, it's gone, you've lost it, and it's like, oh Christ.
There's a lot of things.
Sword and now it's gone. I robbed it from a shop and now
there's a Sword of Woe I remember, which is somewhere, which is really good. There's Umbra, which is a really good sword, but it's off a random orc who's like in the world. Umbra's actually in the other Elder Scrolls games as well. It's the soul
armor that you can get from.
I don't think it's armor, just the sword. It's a named sword called Umbra.
There was some sort of armor that you could get from a. From it might not even be the Elder Scrolls series that you could go somewhere straight away and get a particular set of armor. Or maybe
no, you can you can in Morrowind. There's like, if you know where they are, you can just Google it really quick. Like that Orcish set I knew of, which I could get, and it made me like way better than I should be at that level. Like I could take loads more damage.
Yeah,
because I was like level 1 with like level 30 armor or something stupid. There is stashes of armor all over the place. It's what makes it exciting because you can explore and you can either do it the legitimate way and level up and buy it, or you can just like acquire it. It's like, I've got this.
I just found it, mate. Found it.
Umbra though is, I think there's a set of glass armor somewhere, but Umbra is really powerful, and it siphons the souls off people you kill, or something mental. It's like it's like standard 40k chaos shit where the sword's infected with some fucking hellish crap. And if you're like running around with it, you're a nut job. But it's like whatever. But this is just a guy. It's this orc guy, and he's got Umbra, and he just runs at you, comes at you, and he's whoa. If you kill him, you get Umbra, and it's really fucking good. It's like wow. You got the Dark Brotherhood. They tried to attack me, and I murdered the guy, stole his armor, which I shouldn't have been able to have done at level 1, but I did using a combination of filthy spells and like bullshit. Like I managed to kill him. I don't know. It was really good. It was a nice experience playing it, and it put a smile on my face. It was just a good game.
Yeah,
and it looked good enough with the mods on, and it was quite stable-ish as well. Crashed a couple of times, but I mean that's to be expected.
Yeah.
It doesn't like being minimized. So if you guys do use it, don't minimize the game.
One of the I played something this week that we got a key to ages and ages and ages ago. Do you remember a game called Besiege?
Where you can build stuff, right?
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah,
kind of siege-based physics game kind of thing where you like
yeah.
construct like war machines. When it first came out, we were like, this looks kind of funny. This could be good for a video, and we asked for a key. Didn't get nothing. Didn't hear back from them at all, and apparently they just didn't give anything out for months and months. And yeah, like I think maybe 2 or 3 months after the fact, we got a key, and I activated it because I thought maybe it'd be good for something one day. But
Yeah.
the time had kind of passed, and I kind of forgot about it. And again, I was just going through my list of games because I've got so many games in Steam now that I'm sure I've missed stuff that I want to play that I haven't got round to, or like stuff that I might have picked up in a sale, thinking, oh yeah, I should give that a go, and then never got round to. And I came across Besiege, and I thought, well, I'm sure I read recently that they've updated this to Unity 5. So they're obviously still working on it. I think it's still early access. I'll take a look. That is a really fun little game. It's very. I was going to say it's very simple. It is very simple because it kind of relies on the person playing it to make it complicated. Because it's got
Well, it's just a construction sandbox
yeah
thing.
yeah with really good physics in. So like one of the things that one of the little missions it gives you, because you've either got a big sandbox world with stuff that you can destroy and like challenges like platforming and stuff that you'd have to build a custom machine to do, because you wouldn't be able to. You can't just put like 4 wheels on a box and expect to do it, because you'd need to be able to jump over stuff or fly, or maybe you'd need to get through a brick wall, which only certain materials or certain weapons can do. And there's a mission where you have to destroy tents that these soldiers are protecting. There's a huge number of soldiers. They've all got long range pike weapons, and they take a good couple of hits because they're heavily armored. And so your machine can get chopped to pieces really easily. And I was like, okay, given that I don't really know what I'm doing with this game, and I've just jumped onto this one world, and like I'm a couple of missions in, and the previous ones have been fairly easy, like destroy this stationary fort, or build something that will fly over to this floating balloon and destroy it. How do I do this? Because I was building these huge, like ridiculous machines of war, and I mean, it gives you like drills, huge drills that you can stick on the machine. It gives you massive like sword blades, like massively oversized ones that are like the length of a piece of wood that you can construct the machine out of. You've got buzz saws as well that you can attach to it, that you change the speed at which they rotate, which direction they rotate. There's like spinning blocks, wheels, flotation devices. There's loads of stuff in there. Cannons, water cannons, shrapnel grenades, all kinds of things. And I was building these huge, massively complicated machines, and they were getting wrecked because they were made of wood. And even though they were covered in blades and saws and drills and stuff, there was always a weak spot that you can't quite get a weapon in if you want it to move, that the little guys were, finding their way into
They could
and
get in.
chopping it
Yeah,
apart. And I was like, okay, this is how the fuck am I supposed to do this? And then I kind of thought to myself, well, what if I had something that wasn't made of wood? Like, I want something that is just going to kill them and going to destroy the tents, but it needs to be something that they can't just destroy, because that means that I'm not going to get there, and I can't kill them quick enough. There's just way too many. I think there's like 100 of them or something. I created out of just like in about 10 minutes, like a nightmarish like break dance machine that was made entirely out of spinning blocks. So you've got blocks that spin in a certain direction. Again, you can change the speed at which they spin, and you can change the rotation. It was made out of spinning blocks that came out of every side of a cube, and had buzz saws too on the end that were also spinning in opposite directions to each other. It was impossible to control. Okay, I couldn't control it because it was just like an automated machine that just flipped round and round on the ground. But it made progress. Like it kind of flipped itself forwards and backwards to the side and stuff. And at first I was like, okay, this is not going to work. I wasn't even going to actually use it in the level, because you build the thing, then you press space, and it goes live, and then you can start controlling it and try and complete the level. And at first I wasn't going to do it because I was like, this is going to just do nothing. It's just going to, it might kill them, but it's not going to achieve anything. Then I thought, well, hang on, that could be quite funny. There's like 100 of them. and I've got this like nightmarish buzzsaw break dancing machine. I'll give it a go. I press space. All the enemies rush towards it, and it's brutal. It is just a massacre. Like there's really nice blood effects in the game. There was blood everywhere. It was spraying all over the floor. It ended up all over the tents and the trees around the tents. All the soldiers died because this like nightmare of blades was just spinning through them. It was like when you read about stuff that Chaos invents to unleash in war against the Imperium. It was like that. It was like some nutter had just
Were you proud of the creation?
I was like, this is fucking quality.
Did you sell it as pre-order DLC?
I did not sell it as pre-order DLC. But I did that, and it didn't complete the mission because I couldn't control it, and so I couldn't hit the tents. But then from that point, I was like, well, okay, I've established that the metal blocks which spin, they don't get destroyed by pikes and stuff. Only the wood does, because, wooden construction, you can hack away at it. So in the end, I use the different metal stuff you can get, because you get like ballast as well for when you're producing flying machines. So I made like a car that had buzz saws for wheels that was controlled because it was made out of ballast that was attached to the central thing, and it had buzz saws for wheels that it turned by just rotating the buzz saws at different times, because you can control when the buzz saws rotate. So it had like a tank steering system. So it was made of metal, so they couldn't attack it. It could turn on the spot. It could turn either quick or slow, depending on whether you reversed and turned right or left, or whether you just turned right or just turned left with the other wheels not active. And I was like, I didn't think it was going to be anything. Like, I thought it would just be like a little shitty kind of half an hour of messing about game. Like the physics in it and the way the puzzles are set up and the number of tools it gives you to make stuff, it's like discovering Minecraft creative mode for the first time. Like, when you're like, I could build a massive house.
And you can remember when we did play it? Remember when we did play it? And we like, I remember when we had a server for Minecraft, like when Unit Lost first started, and I remember getting on creative mode. And I remember the server we had where people were like, if they were like supporting Unit Lost, they could get onto the server. But then me and you just used the admin commands because we never really cared about Minecraft, to be honest. But we used the admin commands and flew miles away so they would never find us, like at the speed of light or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I built a Titan. I remember I built a fucking Titan, a 40k Titan. And then I nuked it with TNT.
Yeah, it's exactly like that, and it's like you for the missions you have what's called a bounding box, which is you can only progress through the level if you actually build your machine inside the box.
So you can't build like a massive power.
But the thing is, you can just turn the box off and create like absolute monstrous stuff, and that got me into like at one point I created a catapult that it didn't reload, but it didn't need to reload because it was a catapult that fired 20 bombs at the same time, and it took a load of reinforcing because the first time I made it I fired them all off, and the entire construction just capitulated. It just collapsed underneath itself because the weight and the forces on the materials was too much, and so all the catapult arms split, or the hinge where it was situated just like fell through, or the entire thing at one point cracked in half because I had too many springs attaching the end of the arm to the actual launching platform. And I swear to God, I must have about maybe 8 to 10 hours in that game now, and I only messed about with it on Tuesday of this week. 9 hours I've played it this week. I've completed all the levels, but I keep going back because I'm like, oh, that level where you have to shoot down. There's like these big. They look like Thunderhawks actually, but with balloons coming out of the top and without the wings. They're constructed very much like Thunderhawks, complete with cannons down the side, and you have to destroy it. But you start off on the ground, and there are suicide cows on the ground, which run towards you, and they've got bombs strapped to their backs, and if they hit you, they explode. And the first time I did it a really cheap way with just a small, little, crappy car that was really quick, but had cannons facing directly upright, so you can dodge their cannon fire, get underneath them, fire straight up, and then you can sort of zoom off and avoid the cows and shoot the next one. I did that, and then I was like, no, I want something that's properly ridiculous. So I constructed, without the bounding box, because I'd already completed the level, basically a giant siege machine that had a huge 5 spinning turbine blades made out of swords that was just in the sky, and I could raise it and lower it and turn it and change the angle of it. The front of the thing was protected by a huge extendable ram that was covered in spikes and like like dozer blades to take care of the cows that tried to suicide the machine, and it trundled forwards on like 20 massive wheels. And it took me like an hour to construct, and I was like, this is really addictive. This is really fun. It's the combination of the fact that the physics are really good and like really accurate. So like you could make something where you think to yourself, this is going to be awesome, like maybe a big threshing machine to mow down soldiers. If you don't reinforce it properly, or if you put too much pressure on the front, you'll start the game and you'll start the machine going forwards, and it'll just tear itself apart. Like I did that at one point. I built a massive. It was like 8 spinning blocks from the top down with huge sword blades coming out of them, and each one made the successive one, spin faster because it's attached to a spinning block, and then that's attached to another spinning block. And I'd ram the speed all the way up to 2 times normal speed on them. And I started it off, and it looked amazing because there's this huge turbine of blades just spinning. It lasted half a second, and then the wooden frame of the machine just split apart, and the blades flew backwards and just shredded it. It just annihilated it straight away. And that was like 30 minutes of me making that, and it just died. I was like, oh shit. Okay, can't do that then. Right. And you have to kind of go back to the drawing board. And it's, even though there's not that many levels actually in there, you've got a world, and there's different continents on the world. And each level is like a challenge of, you need to create something that will specifically deal with this set of conditions. So one of them is like a travel up a hill, but there's like bombs and archers that you need to avoid, and another one will be like a massive castle, but there's a load of defense out the front, but you only need to destroy the castle. So do you build a catapult to destroy the castle from afar? Do you build something that can mow through the infantry but has got the drills on the front to actually take the castle down? Also, if you do that, if you crush the castle, you've got to make sure it's strong enough to withstand the mortar, like the bricks and mortar falling on top of the machine. Some of the castles have got like big balls of fire in them that if they touch your machine, if it's made of wood, obviously it'll go up in flames, and then you've lost your machine. It's only got a couple of the continents done. I think one's done and one is half done. The sandbox is mostly done, and the rest of it is still a work in progress. But I can honestly see myself keeping an eye on that, and when there's an update with a new level ready, I would go back to it straight away, because it's like that thing of Minecraft of building something, but it's, you kind of build it and you can make these ridiculous, bizarre creations that are obviously really impractical. They're really stupid. Like making a giant machine that's got a bunch of turbine blade things on the front for dealing with a small army is obviously daft. But you make it and you're like, this is quality if this works. And if it does work, you're like,
it's a point. Do you think because it's giving you a point to actually build something, it's more interesting to you than like Minecraft? Because even though Minecraft was all right, like, and I know we rip on it and take the piss, but it's just Bants, mate, from Grand Banamo Bay or whatever the fucking Grand Banamo Bay.
Yeah, it's just from Banterbury.
I think having a like an objective to it would make a difference to me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't tend to do anything with the sandbox mode really. Instead, I go back to the levels that, admittedly, I've already done, and I'll either try and do them in a different way using the bounding box so it actually counts as a win, or I'll take the bounding box off and see if there's like some sort of extravagant, massive machine that I can make. That, I mean, half the challenge of it, especially when you're doing something that's really huge and ridiculous, half the challenge of it is making it so it doesn't tear itself apart. Because you've got proper physics in there. If you create something that has got like a huge amount of like spinning force on the front of your machine, and you don't support it properly, you're just going to lose the weapon straight away. Just rips it apart, and it'll fly across the map.
It sounds like Robot Wars, don't it? Almost.
It feels a bit like Robot Wars. I'm really hoping that as they go through,
it's a
and add more
multiplayer
stuff,
in it.
No, not at the moment. Anyway, I don't know if they might. I don't know if they'll put it in or not. It'd be good if they did. But I'd really like to see a point where you face other machines. I'd be surprised if there wasn't a point where you face other machines. But if it could put you in front of something, and it's like, this is a war engine that you have got to destroy, and it's been made using the same materials as yours, that would be awesome. There's already a Steam Workshop for it, which is really good. And you can just upload your own creations, so you can save the engines you built. So I saved a multi-catapult that's got one like massive catapult arm, but it fires 5 bombs off at the same time, and it's got saw blades down the side to protect the wheels. It's covered in armor plating, and the front of it is just made of drills and a grabber, because you can grab stuff and drag it and let it go and things. And so I've got a dragger on a grabber thing on the end of a bunch of pistons. So if I need to steal something, because there are maps where you have to steal a thing, so it's like go and steal that crystal or steal that gold. You can drive up, extend the grabber out, grab it, and then pull it away. And I made it, and I was like, this works. For a start, it works, which is better than most of the stuff I've been making. And it's ridiculous, and it's actually okay for pretty much every scenario. Like, it's a good platform to build off. So I saved it, and now I've got it now, so that if I want to take that and tweak it, or if I just fancy mowing down 100 soldiers with a massive drill machine, I can just load it up. Some of the stuff people have made, though, like a guy made a reloading catapult. So it comes with like 5 different bombs. You fire off the catapult, then you press another key, which brings a thing out the side, which then knocks another bomb back into the basket, and then you can fire the catapult off again. People have made transforming tanks. So someone made a K2 tank for a start. That was quite good, complete with tracks. Which I don't know how they did. Like, I've been downloading them and taking a look at them. I don't know how half of them work. It's just crazy. It's like, how the fuck did you make this?
It's like that thing recently. There's a fucking mobile phone in Minecraft now that you can use, make calls through it and everything.
Yeah, someone made
You've seen like calculators and shit.
You know that crazy military robot, the one that they advertise for? It like walks like a dog kind of thing, and it's like for packs. Someone made that in Besiege, and it works. Like, you can build a device to kick it in the side, and it self-corrects and carries on walking. And he's made it out of stuff like spinning blocks, so you've got like a stabilizer, like a gyro stabilizer. People have worked out how to make like gyros and stuff, and flexible joints, and it's just crazy. Like, the stuff that some people have done. There's a Swiss army tank as well, which does normal tank duties, but it can also transform to fire cannons that shoot stuff out of the air, or the sides fold up so you can shoot cannons out of the side to defend it from close combat stuff. The amount of stuff in there. I downloaded yesterday an SR-71 Blackbird that someone made, which looks like it. It not only looks like it, admittedly made of wood and metal, but the shape is exactly the same.
It's a distinctive shape in it.
It flies perfectly. Like, I can't make a plane in that game. I always fuck it up, and it just plummets to the ground and falls to pieces. But people have made like fully functional aircraft. Someone made a fucking ornithopter, in Dune, where it flaps the wings.
Yeah.
And it
like
flies.
A big, daddy long leg.
Yeah.
No, dragonfly.
Yeah. But it flies. It actually flies. You have to operate the wings, but if you operate them at the correct time, it's an actual working ornithopter in a game with like proper physics in it. And I mean, just going through the Steam Workshop, there's got to be like 100 hours of just messing with other people's creations in there, just downloading them and seeing if they work. And when they do, it's like, oh my god. Oh yeah, and someone made an AT-AT, but I haven't tried that yet. But apparently that works as well, like a fully functional, complete with cannons.
That's probably quite simple compared to some of the other shit you've just explained.
It's just mental. It's one of those things where every now and again you play a game that you're just like, I'll give it a go. And then you play it, and it turns out to be really fun. It might not be massively complicated, but it's really, really fun to play.
I think these games bring out the inner kid in you as well. It's like, wow, it's like unlimited Lego. Yeah, but it's like unlimited Lego, that kind of shit is. That's why Minecraft is so popular with kids these days, because it's just their Lego.
Yeah.
Lego, every kid I knew had Lego. You had Lego, I had Lego.
Yeah.
I had Meccano as well. I broke it, though, but I had Meccano.
Oh, and someone has just uploaded IGN's Battleship Congo. Which apparently works according to the people on Steam. It's on water. I haven't seen where you actually get to water, but apparently it floats and everything. So that's nice. So there's like a battleship in the game that someone's made. It's just crazy. It's so much fun. I think actually that's about, well, apart from the usual, the dreaded that people keep telling us to stop talking about, but we can't help it because we keep playing it all the time. It's Overwatch. Well, it's quality, and I don't care.
You sort of fucking addict, bloke. Although, actually, my Overwatch videos this week haven't been that many because I made a discussion video last week, 5 days ago, as of recording of this. I'll probably be another video before you guys see this, maybe. But it's. I don't want to just keep uploading gameplay clips of the game because it's like pointless. It's like if I just like, here's a good game, me and Kirioth. It's like, well, I kind of want to point Mr. Kirioth's substance to what I'm saying. I don't want to just be putting anything out. So we'll see. Anyway, Just Cause 3, I played this, and
oh yeah,
I thought it was really funny. Actually, I know it's Just Cause, and I know there's no story, and I know it's just about blowing shit up, and it does that really well. And it's it feels like a game from some time ago where it knows it's a game and it just doesn't care. Where it's like, oh, you just fell 100 foot in a tank and it's exploded, but you're not dead. You just fell out the top of it. Or like, I kept screwing up the wingsuit where you can fly like with a wingsuit, and I'd hit the ground at like massive speed.
Like you'd hit something like face first, and the guy would roll around on the floor like ragdoll, and then he'd just get up and he's like, "Ow!"
And that was like blood everywhere, and it's like, oh, it's just a really fun game. It's just that is just a destruction sandbox. Think of the stupid ways you can blow shit up with what you got available.
I just knocked the water over.
Oh dear.
There's now water all over my bloody desk. It's not what I wanted. Anyway, carry on.
I think I did the main missions. You can even call them missions for an hour and a half, maybe. Then I just went off and did the usual Just Cause thing of just causing maximum destruction. Like, yeah, it's stupid. You can use your grappling hook to get onto anything. So you grappling hook onto like Apache attack helicopters with loads of missiles, fly around just blowing everything up with missiles, and fucking attach shit together with your grappling hook and drag them into each other and smash people together and just blow stuff up. We spoke about Battlefront and Hotfix and how that is kind of has limited appeal. I think really Just Cause 3 is the same. It's like once you've gone on a mad destruction spree and then you do it again and again, and it's like,
see, this is the thing. I like the idea of Just Cause, but it's the same with Mad Max. Like, I played Mad Max all the way through. Once I completed the main story, even though there's like some funny stuff you can do in that game, I haven't felt the urge to go back to it because it's like, oh, I've done Mad Max now. I kind of feel like Just Cause is similar in a way because like you go on these crazy sprees and then it's like, I've done that. But then what do you do once you've done that? Because it's like, it's not going to be that much different.
Yeah, it's just, the map's big. The destruction's there. There are missions you do and you do follow through the main quest. Just a case of like, you liberate areas of the map. Like you go to towns and smash down all the dictator stuff and go to the next town, and then you get upgrades, and then like Mad Max, where you upgrading your character with different things. You get like your rebel drop system, which again is just a total piss take because you've got your friend Mario, who's just an Italian, like a stereotypical stupid Italian. Yeah, he will drop you anything wherever you are, and Mario
like a tank
operates
or a plane or a helicopter or whatever you want.
Mario operates out of these little garages, but when you deliver stuff, like a fucking fighter jet flies in and drops an air canister. What's that? Drops
like a massive
shipping container.
Comes
down, hits the ground, explodes, and whatever you've bought most of the time is bigger than the shipping container anyway. But when it like explodes out, it's got like confetti all over it. And it's like, woo! Like, here's your present, because it knows it's stupid. And the game does understand that, and it takes the piss out of itself all the time, and that's quite funny. Like, when I was playing it, I was just laughing to myself because it was so fun. It was just stupid, but I'm probably not going to go back and play it after I played it on the stream. It's like, that's it. I've played Just Cause 3, and that's all it is. I mean, I've seen funny videos of people doing crazy stuff, like, the statue of Saddam Hussein that got pulled down?
Yeah.
Well, there's statues of this dictator in every town, and that's one of the things you've got to do, like, to liberate that town. Now, you can just fire your grappling hook at it twice, fire the grappling hook into the floor, and then activate the winch, and the grappling hook pulls stuff down, and it would smash it. It would smash it. And if you do... Well, I seen a guy get in a helicopter, attach a buzz to the bottom of the helicopter with a grappling hook, take off, and use the buzz as a wrecking ball to smash the thing down. And I was like, that's what the game's for. But, once you've done it, you've done it, and it's like it's one of those games I'd get if it was in a bargain bin sale or something.
Yeah, that was one of the problems I had with Just Cause 2, where it's like, I did play that, I've got that in my Steam library, but it's like I played it for a couple of hours and then I never went back to it because I did all the crazy shit. And I distinctly remember I downloaded a trainer so you could have unlimited invincible grappling hook tethers. And it was just doing crazy stuff with like attaching an entire bunch of army guys to a helicopter and then flying it away, and then jumping out of it, and getting them to fly over actually cliffs and attaching people to planes as they flew past and stuff. But I did it, and then I was like, I feel like I've done this game now. I don't think there's anything else I can really do.
This is a problem I think it's got, like Just Cause 4, Just Cause 3, Just Cause 2 is Just Cause 1.
Yeah.
Just Cause 3 doesn't have any multiplayer. Just Cause 2's
That's
got a
really
multiplayer
weird
mod.
as well. Like
It would be
they-
really funny
they were
multiplayer.
so they liked the Just Cause 2 multiplayer mod, so not putting any multiplayer in Just Cause 3 seems really a bit like an oversight. It's like, hey, this guy's done a
It's
good
got
job
that-
here. This is really
it's got-
cool. Hey, we won't do it.
It's got the high score system. Like, it kept coming up comparing me to people on my Steam friends, where it was like, I've jumped 800 foot or something
Yeah.
stupid, you know, things like that. Which I just
The
think
problem
is
is
shit. I don't like them.
You've got to. It's not the same, is it? It's like it's trying
No,
to
it's
introduce.
not.
It's like Bulletstorm. Bulletstorm was like that, where everything had a score
Yeah.
and everything was attached to a thing. It was like, oh yeah, you've got this score, and I was like, I don't really care because the only reason I'm playing this game is because you can do stupid kills on people and it's funny, and that's the only reason I'm playing it. Also, why did Bulletstorm have a serious storyline when the rest of the game was so clearly
It
stupid?
keeps making dick jokes all the time.
Yeah. And then it tries to give you the drama. It's like, mate, I just killed someone by sticking like a drill bullet up someone's arsehole, and now you're trying to give it me large about morals. What are you talking about? What are you on
Give me
about?
large, mate.
You can pull people into cactuses and it kills them. and you're trying to give me a sense like a serious story. No, go away.
It's all right. Just Cause 3. I mean, I'd
take a Mad Max 2. I wouldn't take a Just Cause 4. I'd take a Mad Max 2 though. But the problem is, what would you even do in a Mad Max 2? Because they've wrapped up the story. they just wrapped it up.
I wouldn't imagine there'd be a Mad Max 2, would there?
How you say that? I wouldn't have imagined there'd be a Mad Max game to begin with. We still got it. Then again, I suppose we were getting. Right. I was going to say, then again, we were getting a film as well. But I didn't imagine we'd ever get the new Mad Max film. So
no. And that was for it to be as good as it was.
Yeah, that was like a revival out of nowhere. So. Because I still remember us laughing about that. I think it was on. It might not have even been Hotfix. It might have been before we were doing Hotfix proper, or like when maybe one of the early ones. It's like, oh, and apparently there's a Mad Max game. So welcome to like the 1980s. Because it was just bizarre. It's like, why would you do a Mad Max game now? And then like a year later, it turns out, oh, there's a new Mad Max film. Oh, that's why they're doing a game. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was the E3 thing. I remember when people seen it, it was just a teaser of a guy getting out of a car, and it was like, is this Fallout 4 with a car? It looked because it looked like that. Everyone was like, whoa, Fallout 4. But it was like, no, it's Mad Max, and we were like, what?
Even RPS was like, I'm pretty sure we just saw a trailer for a Mad Max game, and even their article was like, but we don't think it looks like it is, but surely it can't be because who the fuck cares about Mad Max? And I was the same. I was like, I mean, great. I really like Mad Max, but why? But then it all makes itself clear, don't it? When the bloody game comes.
So isn't this the 27th episode of the podcast?
It is. Yeah, we made a slight error last week, which I'm not going to claim any responsibility for. I was going to say that we need to find a rhyme. We need to find a rhyme, and I was going to say we need to find a rhyme for 27 because it's the 27th. But as you are prone to do, sir, I was interrupted, and I was interrupted with the Great Eighth. At which point, my train of thought just disappeared entirely, and I was like, "That is a rhyme," and then I just accepted it. So it's actually last week was supposed to be the 27th, but it was the 28th. So this week we're doing the 27th because.
We're really tired because all my blood's been taken out of me.
We are masters of our own destiny, and we'll do what we like.
It's not the 11th.
Hang on.
What are you doing?
I'm doing the tradition now.
What's the tradition?
What rhymes with 7th?
11th.
Can't have 11th.
Why not? The 27th, not 11th.
Well, words that rhyme with 7th. One result. 11th.
I told you.
Hang on. Look at this. Words that almost rhyme. 23 results. 2 syllables. Beckon. What? Beckon almost rhymes with 7th. No, it doesn't. There's heavens. Kenneth.
Kenneth, do it.
The Kenneth 27th.
Nobody will understand it. It'll just be like, why is it called the Kenneth's 27th birthday show?
I made that the title for this one. Kenneth's 27th birthday show.
And everyone's watching it like they watch the start of it, and they'll just be like, they haven't even named it yet.
They haven't even addressed the fucking name of this thing. Why is it called Kenneth's 27th birthday show?
Do it. It'll be great for SEO.
I'm just gonna write it down so I don't forget. because otherwise I will, or I'll misspell it. Not that I ever have in the past. So whatever.
Well. Right then, so I played StarCraft 2 on the ladder, competitive. I went in large, bro. I went in large.
I know. I saw this. I was
Fucking
impressed.
large.
It was not. It was not the unmitigated disaster that
When you put a guy,
that you kind of convinced me that it would be.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
the way you talked about it, it was like, has he forgotten how to play the game? Is it going to be really bad? And I was expecting it to be. I was expecting it to be rusty, sir. Rusty, I think is the way to put it. Rusty, because you haven't done the ladder since Wings of Liberty, which was some considerable time ago.
4 years ago.
The game has sort of changed a little bit since then. There are units in the game that I don't know what they are or what they do or have any idea as to what the purpose of is.
The basic shit, like the muscle memory, surprisingly came back pretty quick. In the first game I played, I was like a massive win, and the chat were like, "Whoa, it's actually quite good here." And I was like, "Yeah, fucking take that, boys!" Like, I mean, that was like really good. All my hotkeys spamming all over the map, scouting, building, really good. But then, like, I obviously played a shitter in that game who didn't know what he was doing.
Basically, you were playing me.
Yeah, I was playing like, and I just wrecked the guy, and then I had another win and another win. It was like, fucking hell, he's just winning all the games here. Then I lost 3 games on the trot because what happens is it was doing the placement games, 5 placement. So it puts you against a shitter. You beat the shitter, you go against somebody a little bit better. You beat the wanker, then you go against somebody better. You beat the tosser, and then you go against somebody who wrecks the shit out of you. And then you're like, right. So then the game's like, we'll try somebody else. Oh, they beat you. So go to Silver League. And I'm like, What was really funny to me, though, is I don't, like, your SCV is automatically mine. You start off with more SCVs than you did, so you mine money much quicker. So I'm used to, like, a slower start to the game. But suddenly, immediately at the start, you can build a supply depot and a barracks. And then another, well, you can build 2 supply depots and then a barracks. Or you can build a command center really quick. And I'm like, whoa. And it threw me off, right? Now, this was okay against shitters.
Yeah.
Not against people who know how to play the game, who are in, like, high gold and whatever. They're like, I'm going to kill you. And a Protoss guy, it was really funny seeing units that I don't know what they do just turn up, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm playing a Zerg guy, and I'm laughing to the stream. I'm like, I fucking beat this guy so easy. Like, I've wrecked him. But he had lurkers, didn't he? I didn't know this because I didn't even know they were in the game. They're in StarCraft, not StarCraft 2, bloke.
Yeah, they're the ones that they burrow, don't they? And then they fire those spikes through the ground.
Are they sunken colonies or something? Lurker sunken colony? I don't know.
Yeah.
They fire spikes through the ground, yeah. And they wreck Terran bio, like murder it. And I had a massive army, and I just didn't even know they were there. And I just walked into, like, it'd be like walking into the spider mines or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've just lost the game. I didn't, because I had such a massive base. I rebuilt everything and just basically killed the guy with attrition. But if he had the same base as me, I'd lost. Then I played again. This was the best game. I played against Protoss. I think he was ranked 8 gold. And this was a really good game because I'd attacked him, he'd attacked me, then I'd attacked him back, and I'm in his base, and it was such a back and forth game. It was really intense. I was like, holy shit! I'm attacking him, and he started building Colossus. I'm like, it's fine, I can take his Colossus out. He dropped in my base. He fucking used a warp prism, wrecked off my SCV. So I'm trying to balance, like, building military with rebuilding my economy. What I didn't realize, though, he's had a 3rd base. I totally forgot to check it. Now, this is like a noob mistake I made. I should have looked for it because there's no way he could have sustained what he was doing off off 1 base, because I'd wrecked his expansion, and then I started killing, like, his army basically, and he forced me out of his base. But I was killing, like, Colossus with a couple of Marauders and Marines. It's like really good trade for me. Then I started rallying my units down, thinking this is going to be the death blow, and I'm like, whoa! And he had a big army. Then I'm like, whoa! It's like as big as my army, but I had no economy because I spent it all on my army, and he had 2 functioning bases really. And it was a good game, and it reminded me how just a small thing fucks you over, because there was a point where I beat the guy in that game. I'd killed his natural, and I pushed into his main. And then my next reinforcement wave came down. Could have easily have just gone to his 3rd and killed it. There would be nothing there. I didn't know. I went and attacked him again where his force was, because I didn't know. I didn't know about the base. If I did, I could have gone in there and taken it out, and then I would have won, because he would have had no economy. I had 2 bases, and he would have had 1. So that was a bit going. But then when I'd seen new units, like I think it's the Adept for Protoss.
Fires like a. Is that the one that fires like a shade forward, and then they teleport to the shade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I didn't know what was going on because they just walked through the front of my base and they were in my mineral line. I was like, whoa, what's going on? What's going on? And I'm like, it was crazy. And I don't know what I was doing with the new units, but it was funny. But then this is the best thing in the expansion by far. It's got an hourly tournament happens. It's even got a schedule for it, so you can click on it and it tells you when the next tournaments are starting and when round 2 is going to start and round 3. You join it and it puts you in with people of a similar level. Now I was ranked in silver, but I was put in the gold tier competition. I lost the first game, right? I didn't play very well and I deserved to lose. But it was so good that like I never played a StarCraft tournament and it comes up like a StarCraft tournament with the brackets and it's like Stylosa versus this guy. And it's like cool. You can veto the maps, so you can say, I don't want this map, don't want that map. And then you have to say when you're ready, you go into the game, you get a 5-minute break after your match to recover to go into your next game. And if you win, you get a trophy, bloke, that displays next to your command center or your whatever on the map. And I was like, this is really good. So you could enter these competitions. If this was in at launch, it would have been awesome. It would have been really good because it would have given you a way to test instead of just go. Because ladder's like back and forth, ain't it? It's like my experience with ladder is you'd go in, you'd win, then you'd lose, you'd win, then you lose, you'd win, then you lose, or then you'd win, get promoted, lose, demoted, win, promoted, win, lose, and stagnate in that league then sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because it would always give you an opponent worse than you, and then an opponent better than you because you beat one worse than you. And then an opponent, like that's how it worked.
Yeah.
Tournament thing seemed a bit. Obviously, there were players that were better than me because they were in gold division and I wasn't. But it was still quite good. But tell you what, I played it for 2 hours and I was dead after it.
Yeah, it's.
You can't just have a casual game of it.
Because I started out watching, then I had to go on a bloody emergency vet visit, and then I came back before you'd finished, and it's like you can actually see. I think when pretty much anyone streams StarCraft, it's like you can do a before and after shot, and it's like before is full of life, and after is like, oh Jesus Christ, I want out. I can't handle it anymore.
I was like, I've done 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. It's so intensive. Yeah. I mean, I tried to look up for build orders because I thought, things that I remember are just not even a thing anymore. And I looked at the build orders and they reminded me, well, I'll Google it. I mean, listen to this.
Also, in one of the games that I saw, I thought the Protoss had a fairly good chance, but then his Colossus just walked into your base, not attacking anyone. I can't remember what game that was. But
it came from he was flustered in that game because I had 3 bases or maybe 4 bases down, and he had an army about the size of mine, but I dropped in his base and his army was across the map. So he went to go back, and then he thought, fuck it, I'll just attack him. And he'd come to attack me, but I was in a pretty good defensive position, and he just was like, he flooded over my base, which kind of didn't matter because everything was slamming him constantly, and his Colossus walking around all stupid. And it was a misplay, but that's what's going to happen in the lower leagues,
I felt a bit bad because I was watching it and I was like, you were doing serious damage to his base with your drop. But then I saw the Colossus just wandering about and I was like, oh.
Because he's like, shit, you lose control. And it's like.
I kind of thought to myself, that is exactly the kind of thing that I would do though. Like, I felt sympathy because I was like, I would totally have done that. I'd have been like, do I go back? Do I stay? What the fuck do I do? And I know that I would have done exactly the same thing. I was like, that was quite a good army I had as well. Fucking hell, that's got to be good.
When I lost in the tournament game, the first game, it was against Zerg, and I'm like, right, okay, I'm gonna go straight into a barracks, straight into a reacted factory, so I can build 2 Hellions. I'm gonna build 4 Hellions, and then I'm gonna kill his mineral line. And then from the Hellions, I'll change up and just go into like a bio build or something. I rallied the Hellions down the map, and he caught them. But when I watched on the replay, it was just pure luck because he was going for a Baneling bust on me. The Hellions, 4 Hellions, would kill like the 15 or whatever lings he had, easy. But because I just sat there and I was just waiting like for the... But I was basically seconds away from selecting them and ordering them in. And I was just doing something in the base. Then it was like, we're under attack or whatever. And I was like, oh shit. Scroll down there, they're surrounded and they get killed, and I'm like, no. And that meant I had no units because they were the only units I had.
Yeah.
And then these lings ran up the map, turned into banelings, and just went through the front. Didn't kill me because I tried to recover, but I was so far back then because he blew up my SCVs and whatever. I was like, damn. And that's what killed me, because I think I had a good chance. And then from that point, I was always behind, and I tried to stay because it was a tournament. I didn't just want to leave. You might make a misplay, but you never. And he just came with increasingly powerful forces, and I just, I was just ruined then. So, But anyway, here's a build order, bloke. So
he's gonna have stuff in it that I don't even recognize, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you won't even it'll be complex. Just for people to listen to, because this is how you do. So the idea is a build order is the number is the supply, and then you do an action. So this is a combat shield all in Terran. 14, that's a supply. You build the first supply depot. Now you don't build at 14, not in my day. And this should be exactly 17 seconds into the game. This is how accurate that you have to be. This is why it's the hardest esport by far. 16 barracks, 16 gas, 16 send SCV to scout, 16 don't build any more SCVs. Build 2 supply depots, so your supply is 16 now. So 16, 2 more supply depots, 2 more barracks, upgrade the command center, another barracks, start to constantly build Marines out of the barracks, pull all the SCVs out of the gas, and now put them into the now put them into minerals. This is when you're on 100 gas. Use the 100 gas for the shield upgrade. Research combat shield upgrade, then build 4th and 5th barracks, and then 24 continue SCV production, attack, and then after that transition into expansion. And it's that's how the game's played at a high level. So when you come, this is a level like diamond. It's not this is not like grandmasters or nothing.
Not even 5 minutes into the game, or even close to that. We're talking
Yeah, and if you miss a beat, because they often talk about missing a beat, it's like a rhythm, and if you get the rhythm wrong, you fucking lose. Because if the other guy's got his rhythm right, he's going to beat you. This is why it's so hard to play this game, and this is why it'll always have a problem with an audience, because you can't give it to somebody and ask them to play it, because they can't compete. You have to dedicate your entire gaming life to this game to be able to compete. You have to know everything if you want to get anywhere, because you can just be ignorant and say, okay, I'm just going to play the game how I want to play. That's fine. But you'll always stay in copper. Or, well, bronze. I call it copper. Or silver. Until you decide to learn build orders, you'll then go to gold. And then if you want to refine them, you'll go to platinum. And then to get out of platinum, which is very hard, you have to become an expert at executing the simpler build orders. So you have to say, like back in my day, it would be, I'm against Zerg, so probably fast expanding isn't a good thing to do on this small 2v2 map. What I should probably do is maybe go for reactor factory Hellions and then try and take out some of his drones. And hopefully I do enough economic damage so then I can overrun the Zerg. If it was on a big map, you could maybe say, well, I'm going to go command center first because he's so far away, even if he tries to rush me, he can't physically get here in time. So I'll build a 14 command center and all of this stuff. And it becomes highly tactical. I mean, I've seen people compare it to, it's like having to play chess when you've got a second to make a move.
And you've got to. The other thing as well is you really have got to have the patience. Like that was something that
you'll get beat, you'll get destroyed.
I just didn't have the patience for it. Like at one point, like we joke about the whole Wood League thing. I did at one point sit down and I was like, okay, I've learned. I have it on the screen next to me. I've got 2 screens. I have on this screen next to me, I have 4-gate for Protoss because I don't know why, but 4-gate has become a bit of a joke to me now. But I think it's just because it's like not relevant anymore. But it's like at the time when we were playing it, it was like it was a viable thing. It was a thing that you could do, and it was a simple build order that you were able to execute. And I did sit down, and for like a good few hours, I did nothing but 4-gate, and I won a few games, and I lost a few games. And at the end of it, I kind of looked at the timing of it and how I was coping with the timing, and I like immediately came to the conclusion, I need to keep doing this for like another week before I get, close to being accurate every time. And this strategy is not going to last into anything beyond silver. And no.
That's not true, though. That's not true. So the reason why you lost the games is because you were doing a 4-gate against a build which counters the 4-gate, but you wouldn't know this. This is the problem. This is obviously all outdated builds. If I was Terran and I opened with the double racks and just started building Marines and send them up the map to you, I'd kill you with your 4-gate because you wouldn't. You're building 4 gates. You don't have the units. You might have some units down. You might have a sentry, maybe block me off for a while, but I'm going to have like 10 Marines that are going to be in your base in a minute. You're going to lose. So you'd have to go for like, I think a double gate with the chrono on at the time would counter it, because what you do is you'd build like try and get stalkers as fast as possible, I think, and like 2 sentries maybe, so you can really block the ramp off. But that's the thing. Like you can learn a build order right now and be the king of that build order and go out and execute it. And like Kiri said, you'll get to maybe gold, but then you're just going to be stuck winning and losing because it depends what the other guy's doing. If the other guy does something like if Kiri's build has no AA and I go for cloaked banshees for some obscure reason because I've gone mad, I beat him. Because he can't detect them or attack them, then I win, and it's like, oh, that's like a build order win, and that's a thing in StarCraft. So you got to keep scouting. That's why I like Terran, because you could just scan the enemy base. So if things were getting on top of you, it's like, oh, quick scan. Right, that's what they're doing. They're doing whatever. They've got a robo bait. I mean, if you see the sort of no, what is it? I don't know what it's the robo upgrade thing for the Colossus build, the arms where it moves around.
Yeah, it's the robotics bay.
Is it?
I think it's called.
I thought that was the one that builds the immortals and shit.
The one that. Yeah, no, sorry. The robotics bay is the one that builds the immortals. What? I can't remember what it's called. I should.
The robotics bay.
Bloody playing the campaign.
The Robo Bay, that's the thing that builds the Colossus and builds the Immortals and all that shit and the Sentries. But the actual thing, which is the building you need to build the Colossus, that looks like a squid thing.
It is the robotics bay that provides the upgrades, and it's the
facility.
It's the facility that does the does the thing. So we're close with Robo. We got robotics.
They're both Robos. There's the Robo man. So if you see that, if you're Terran, Colossus is coming, and Colossus is going to kill your Marines and Marauders. So what you got to do is build, I forgot the name of them, the aircraft.
Vikings,
yeah, because Colossus is so tall, Vikings can shoot them in the head and do a load of damage to them from range, and Colossus can't attack them back. So then you would get your Vikings into like Group 2 and have them at the side, and when you engage the armies, you would try and snipe the Colossus out with the Vikings. Now, of course, if you're not good enough to do that, which I'm not at the moment, you just send everything in one big mash, and you might win, you might lose, but you could have won if you microed it better. Welcome to StarCraft. It's so punishing. To me, it's still the best esport to watch. I don't really watch that much esports now, but it's so punishing, this game. It's holy fuck.
Despite not having the patience to play it and not having that drive to get better, I still really enjoyed watching it, because even the same week that I decided, like the same day that I decided I was not going to sit there and try and learn a bunch of build orders and get really good at the game, I was still watching GSL.
Oh yeah,
I still watched it every single day. I think for me, it's always going to be a spectator sport. Like there's no chance of me going back into StarCraft and trying to do ladder or anything.
I've always felt like it is a good spectator sport in one way, because it is like Red Army versus Blue Army, and you kind of get that. Yeah. What you don't get is like the intricacies of the units and the build orders. And I've got to be honest, some of the stuff I've watched, the casters, they try to sort of explain what's going on, but it's very hard to explain.
It's like a newbie friendly StarCraft 2 cast, because if you're trying to explain everything, stuff changes so quickly and stuff happens so quickly that you'd fall behind, and then it's like you're not keeping people up to date with what's happening in the game. Instead, you're explaining what happened 30 seconds ago, because 30 seconds ago is actually 2 seconds ago in StarCraft, because everything happens so quickly and stuff changes so often. It's like even the small stuff like, oh, that guy's built that building. To someone watching, it's like, I don't understand the significance.
What does
of
that mean?
But a caster could be like, oh, and he's built a robo facility, and it's like everyone who knows what the game is could sit there and go, oh shit, that means he's going to do this thing. But everyone else is just going, what? What's that? But if they sit there and try to explain that, actually, in the past when he's done this, it's meant that he's going to produce this unit, which means at this time he's going to do this, and it's been a strategy that's worked out well for him. It's like, oh, by that point he's already done it. So what are you going to do? You're just permanently lagging behind.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. It's a shame, because it is like I think it's a shame because we won't see a game like this again. I don't think Blizzard are going to make another RTS game. I don't think so. Maybe they will. I don't know.
They
won't make a StarCraft 3.
Because
This
I mean,
now,
StarCraft 2 is sold. It's sort of stayed absolutely level. The people who bought it then bought the expansions. Like they've had like
is it
no
enough
drop
though?
off. But
Is it?
there's the other thing as well. The esports side of
Because
it, they killed.
yeah,
So
well, Blizzard isn't a Blizzard is such a large company. The profits of other franchises can kind of mask
yeah,
what other franchises are doing. I mean, StarCraft is the weakest one. It has to be.
yeah, it is.
Hearthstone must be killing it, and WoW has just killed everybody. So that's like, to me, it's like I don't know whether. I mean, I want to see a Warcraft 4, but how do you even do that with WoW?
Yeah,
Because WoW is like you just go on some. I don't know what you do. It would be nice if they came out with a totally new IP for RTS. That would be great.
yeah,
I enjoy, like StarCraft is its own RTS game. It's the Blizzard take on RTS, and it's not. It isn't your Westwood game where you can build endless units. There's no unit cap, and it was more centered around not really expanding, was it? The Westwood games they were more
no,
around like you had one base, and then the resources got further away from your base. It wasn't like you built bases at all the different resources. EA changed that a bit with Generals, where you kind of did go more StarCrafty at the time. StarCraft 2 come out, and obviously with the success it was in Korea, where it was massive, and people realized how complicated the game just was, sort of thing, and it was such a watchable thing. And for years, I mean, it's still played even now. StarCraft 1,
yeah,
StarCraft 2 comes out, and it fits into this. It's this not very newbie friendly. It's this ultra hardcore micro and macro RTS game. It's not like your Age of Empires where it's more macro. Okay, you got to do your micro. It's not like your Subcom where it's like you don't really care too much about
yeah,
micro there. You just send in thousands of units to kill each other. It's more about macro in the building your base. Like Ashes of the Singularity is another game which is more about macro, which is base construction and economy, than micro. You can do a bit of micro, sure, but it's not like StarCraft where you control in individual units with. I mean, this has always been a thing I've never really liked, right? And this put me off playing Warcraft 3 multiplayer back in the day, is units in RTS games with abilities and spells. I hate the sentry for Protoss. I fucking hate it. I hate stuff with any more than one ability. I don't mind siege tanks, they just deploy. I don't mind
yeah.
Stimpack, you just press it. But when it's like, oh, you've got a shield, oh, you've also got a thing you can drop, you've got this and that. It's suddenly, to me, that
That's
I don't know.
crossing
I'd never
dangerously
like
close
that.
into RPG territory for me, like top-down RPG sort of style, and it's
But
like,
it's the MOBA thing, isn't it? Now, really, because that's
yeah,
where that all came from with Defense of the Ancients mod for Warcraft 3. But yeah, like that's why I never really enjoyed that multiplayer. Also, I think the times that they play it, I got annihilated. So there you go. Which again, it's like welcome. So I
you
don't know.
know what,
I'd like to see a StarCraft 3. I think the story is totally shit in
yeah.
StarCraft
I
3.
don't
It's
think,
just
I don't
cliche
think anything is
bullshit.
going to change that. Blizzard's
No,
storytelling is not great.
it would be nice to. I don't know. You know what? I'd like to see them just continually support StarCraft 2 now for 5-6 years, but make
Yeah,
another RTS game
yeah,
because
yeah.
they're making an FPS game.
Yeah,
Nobody thought they'd do that.
they do have it in them to do new stuff. They
Yeah,
clearly
they're
do, but
massive. They've got multiple
they
teams as
just
well.
do it very rarely, and it's like, and it's in a way it's a shame it's rarely, because when they do it, they tend to pull it off with such polish. I mean, we look at like Hearthstone, and I mean, I know Heroes of the Storm isn't technically new. It's kind of based on various things munched together, but it's still a very polished experience. Just like Overwatch, a game that you would never see Blizzard doing, is a really polished, really well done first person shooter. So they can obviously pull it off. They just don't want to for whatever reason. Or maybe they just have such high sort of expectations for the stuff that they should be
Well, I forgot
producing.
about
That it's
Heroes
like,
when we reeled off their games. I think Heroes is probably the worst performing game, not StarCraft 2. Heroes is an example of how they can make another game and make it fairly decent. But that, in my eyes, that game's a failure because it's just it's like the comedy show of the MOBAs. It's
yeah.
trying to go against something, but it's just
It's something where
it,
I think they've done a good job with it, but I don't think the
it
market
makes
is
no
there
difference.
for it that
Yeah,
they thought there was, to be
I agree.
honest.
I agree.
I
If
think
they did
it's
the
like,
best job ever, it makes no difference.
yeah, it's if you haven't got the product that people want to play, then no matter how good it
Because
is, they're not going to play it.
I
So
think they understand like developing characters that people relate to. So Heroes of the Storm, on the face of it, makes sense because there's Thrall, there's the Lich King,
yeah,
there's everybody we know. Overwatch doing the same thing, making all these very distinctive characters. So it's like, oh, there's Widowmaker, there's Winston, there's this, there's that. They seem to be quite good at doing that. So maybe they thought that Heroes is going to do well. But yeah, I mean, StarCraft 2. It is one of my favorite games, which is a weird thing to say because it's not a game I play. It was. Yeah. It really was a game. If I was a one-game kind of guy, I would be playing StarCraft 2 probably. And yeah. You know what I mean? If things went differently and we didn't start the YouTube channel and all of that stuff, I would still be playing StarCraft 2 now, probably. I probably just would have been like, because I played it. I didn't care. I absolutely love sitting down, playing that game, losing, reviewing my replays. How did I lose? Oh, I lost because I didn't have this at this time. The next game, I'd make sure I had that at that time. Yeah. I even had an overlay. I'd run the game in borderless window, and I'd use a program to put windows on top of the windows I've got, and I'd write my build order down on the same monitor, so it was transparent. And I'd like, right, 13 this, 13 racks, 14 this, 16 gas, and I'm going through it as I'm playing the games like live, and then it becomes muscle memory, and then the game changes because an expansion comes out, or one of the interesting things with early StarCraft. It must still be the same right now. And this kind of happens with Overwatch, where the meta shifts all over the place. Happens with League of Legends as well and Dota, where, well, you remember Marine King Prime just built Marines, and people were like, what the hell? The Marines are killing everything. But then one slight different change in another race's build order annihilates the Marines. And then that comes into play. And then this changes, and then that changes, and then suddenly it's no longer a thing. I mean, do you remember Stefano?
Yeah.
Just used to build roaches. He just used to build loads of roaches. That's all he did. And he would beat everybody with it. And it was like, how'd you beat roaches? And it took some time for people to come up with ways to beat the roaches. He was really good at doing it. Like, he would never miss the timings. He beat Koreans and everything. And it was like, wow, what's going on here? But then they learn and they destroy him, and he doesn't have any answer. And then, when you look at the end of the game, which it is the beginning of the end for StarCraft 2, it is just completely dominated by Korean players, which it should be. The foreigners, which is everybody outside of Korea, which is a funny way to... When it's an American game, surely the Koreans are foreigners and everybody else is foreigners, but whatever. You see who is the best, because they are always the best. I mean, there's a guy called Polt. I've probably got the most respect for this guy as just a gamer, for his ability, than anyone else, because this is a guy who is able to beat top Korean... He's Korean, right? But he's like, he lives in America. I think he's Korean. Yeah, he's Korean. Can beat top tier Korean players and win the major tournaments and everything, while also like being at university and just doing whatever the hell else he did. He just turns up and beats them as well. It's like, wow. And I'd really like watching him, because some of the things he'd do were really good, because he was Terran. I just used to like to watch Terran players. So yeah, you see by the end, the Koreans obviously were the best. There were periods where some Europeans, like Stefano was French, or not so much Americans,
the occasional standout foreign player, and
then. But you can bet all your money that the finals will be Koreans, top 5, and there might be the odd guy from Sweden or something who somehow got in there. I mean, there's all these names, like Hook. You remember this guy, a Canadian?
Yeah.
Didn't win anything. I think he won one early competition, DreamHack, before the Koreans turned up. When it turned up, it's time for you to go. In Control, I don't think he won anything, but he's more of like a PR marketing man, I guess, for EG. The Muslim, he was an English guy who played Terran. Don't think he won anything. TLO was a subcom player with his brother, the little one. He was a Zerg player. I think he won some European competitions. He was the angry guy, the Zerg angry guy.
Idra.
Yeah, him. Yeah. What made him... He was like the best foreigner, probably. So the guys who weren't Korean, because he, like in the history of StarCraft as a whole, because he went out to Korea for the first StarCraft and trained with them. That's the only way to... What makes I know this might be a bit boring for you guys, but I know quite a bit about StarCraft. What made the Koreans so good is they approached StarCraft 2 training just like a sport.
Yeah.
What makes football teams in the top leagues and whatever division good? They train every day. They work as a unit. They know what to do when certain things happen. When the ball is in this area, the pitch will move over here. When so-and-so's out of position, I'll fill in for this position. They train. They applied that mentality to StarCraft 2. We train. European outfits and American outfits to begin with were very lax. They were not the same. It wasn't like they didn't have a trainer or a manager or some guy who walks in and is like, today we're going to learn Terran Combat Shield Rush. Let's go. Everybody's doing it. Let's go. And he's walking around. You've not done it. Why haven't you done this? That build order's off. Start again. That's what training's like. It's not like just go and have fun and be good at the game. I mean, a lot of the American players and the European players, yeah, they were top tier players, but they were not religiously drilled like the Koreans were. And they got to, and then that means through all this training, they surpass because you can't beat them. Because sport, which is what this is, some people are gifted, but anybody can play at the highest level. That is a mantra to live by. Kiri could have been a professional footballer in the Premier League if he was trained. Yeah, need a little bit of luck, but if he was trained, he could be a footballer.
Yeah.
Anybody could. He won't be the best, no, because he hasn't got natural gift. He's not Messi, he's not Ronaldo, but he could be in a team with them. And that's the difference. The Koreans know this, and so they train, and you end up with these players who seem invincible, and then sometimes you get ones who are just naturally good, and then they're trained as well, and you're never going to beat them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Kind of me want to watch StarCraft 2 again now.
It's really good to watch. Honestly, it's really good to watch. Yeah, but it's all new now because all the new units are out.
Yeah.
And I've been watching the odd streams. You know, it's actually quite interesting. Just jump into a stream, a pro gamer stream, and I won't do streaming now. Let's do a little check. But you jump into like a stream and you can see within a few minutes you'll get into it, and then like you can watch it for a bit. You can't watch it for too long because it
ruins your brain. It's like, oh god.
Yeah. Somebody's streaming Family Guy on Twitch.
What?
I don't know. I just went to Twitch and there's a guy streaming Family Guy.
Pretty sure you're not allowed to do that. That's
no.
What the fuck?
Anyway, yeah. So if I go to StarCraft, which StarCraft 2 is got 10,000 viewers right now. This was one of the games which started Twitch. This was number one, right?
Yeah.
Number one, number two were League of Legends and Dota, I think. Crank is playing, so he's a fairly high tier player.
He was an Axiom guy, wasn't he, until recently?
Yeah, I don't think they did much, though. You've got the Muslim actually doing pretty good, 1,500 viewers on a stream.
Yeah.
But that's because he's like, you can watch the Muslim and he's not aggressive, he's not salty, he just sits there and he's like, hey guys, how's it going? Oh, that's why I've lost. Off we go.
Yeah.
Like Bob Ross, I suppose, that kind of attitude. Yeah, like, fuck! He's not like me when I'm like, you fucking fuck, and I'm like dying, I'm like, no, and I'm
at least you never went Idra's route, which was
no, I don't go rage.
Like, I mean, he was dead funny. I'm not gonna lie. People didn't like him. He made me
just
laugh.
A sour little wanker.
Well, yeah, because every time he lost, he'd be like, "I'm fucking losing to scrubs. You're shit. You fucking suck at this game. You screwed up that builder." And he's like, "Yeah, but mate, you lost." And that's all it boils down to. Just like if he's shit, how shit are you to lose to that? But of course, he never saw that. He was like, "Oh, just look." And it's like, "Oh, it could be that you totally fucked yourself with that timing, and now he's wrecked you." But no, he's shit. It's every single time. I don't know why. It always made me laugh watching Hydra. He just got so angry about everything. And it was always his own fault. It was brilliant.
I'm looking at it now, and Hook's streaming right now, and other people like that, and it's kind of sad because I get more viewers. Well, I got more viewers than them playing StarCraft the other day than they actually do now, which shows you the difference. I mean, obviously, it wasn't StarCraft fans watching me stream; it was people coming to see me get slaughtered because you wankers like that. Apparently, I mean, that's not like oh wow, unit loss getting bigger. It's just like that is StarCraft has capitulated because it used to be big streams and thousands of people watching, and now it's like, you know, I mean, Boss Toss MC is streaming, and MC, he has earned the most money in StarCraft 2 than anyone. He's a legend. He retired the other year. He's still fucking good. He has got 200 viewers on his stream. He is a legend. He would have got fucking massive views. I mean, I bet you if I click on his stream, oh, he's not got that many overall total views, but he would have got massive viewers. A lot of the Korean guys streamed on the other thing as well. There was a Korean stream thing, but some of them wouldn't stream as well. Yes, and some of them wouldn't stream because you don't want to give your tactics away.
Yeah.
There was actually a whole thing about that with the personalities, like the EU guys and the Americans who realised we're making a lot of money streaming, so we'll just keep streaming. They wouldn't win competitions because it takes a guy 5 seconds to just watch their stream and be like, oh, I know how this guy plays now,
Yeah.
so I'm going to kill him.
But they were making so much from streaming that it didn't really matter because
But it
they
fucked
were.
them up in the tournament scene, yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's
I
not.
mean, it's
It's
go
not
on.
It's not StarCraft 2. But I did watch something this week. I wasn't going to talk about it because I didn't play it. I watched something that I've never watched before, but I really enjoyed. It's a guy who does Age of Empires 2 casting. Now, I had no idea that Age of Empires 2, even after the HD
Oh yeah,
remake,
this has big money tournaments. This does,
it's
yeah.
really popular still, really popular. And there's proper ladders set up and like fan communities and stuff where they've got like proper tournaments going. And it was one of the most bizarre but like funny things I've watched for ages. Just because it was like I used to play Age of Empires 2 a lot. I loved Age of Empires 2, and it's really nice knowing that it's still played just by normal people everywhere. He was casting a game which was there's like an entire replay system now as well, and he was watching it via that.
Yeah, yeah.
And
There's a new expansion for it as well.
it's crazy, isn't it? It was like and it was a 3v3, but it wasn't a 3v3 because at a certain point you can just break alliances. It's last man standing, that was it. And you start out in two
Breaking
teams.
alliance.
And you start in two teams, and then as the game goes forward and people get killed and stuff, you can turn on one of your allies or both of your allies, or you can form alliances with other people and stuff like that. It was a crazy game. Like you had people in completely
sounds
different
really good to
skill
watch.
levels. And so like two of them didn't know what they were doing. Like they had no idea. There was one guy, they were on a map that was like fairly even on both sides. One poor bastard, the only gold anywhere near him was in the middle of a forest. So he had to like chop his way to it, which was impossible. So he had like no gold. Another guy, even though it was a map that had a ton of water, and it was two large land masses separated by water, and they had the shallows that cross across to get from one to the other. He didn't build a dock. He built no water units at all. He built nothing to go on the water. No warships, no fishing boats, nothing. And the cast was like, so we're like 20 minutes in here, and he still doesn't have a dock. I don't know what he's doing because he has no way of defending himself if someone attacks from the sea, and his town centre's right next to the sea. So I don't really know what he's going to do there. And like as the game went on, there was double crossing, there was backstabbing. Someone managed to get all the relics on the map to a monastery, and it looked like they were going to get a relic victory, but their ally said, no, don't win by relic. Don't win by relic victory. And so he just did what they said, and he took the relics out. But because it's last man standing, they reckon probably he would have just won the game. Not his team, just him, because he had all the relics, and it's whoever wins the game at the end. It was really interesting. It was really funny to watch. It was like an hour and a half. I ended up putting it on the 1.25 speed on YouTube. And I was like, I watched the whole thing, and there was crazy double crosses and twists, and one guy had an obsession with building demolition ships for no reason, and he was putting them in the shallows, so someone would send an army across, and they'd just demolition ship into the army. And the things with the demolition ships is even the cast was like, I wish I knew how those things spread their damage out, because it should have done more than kill those 5 guys. It should have done way more than that. I don't understand why it only killed 5 guys. The next time you see it, it blows up, and a guy loses like 40 cavalry. They all just die, and he's like, I've got nothing. Don't know how that works. Got no idea. It was really interesting to watch because it was the same thing where there was specific build orders and stuff. And it's like, okay, so this guy, you can tell that he's got like he's experienced. He's rushing to a castle. He's going straight for the castle. He's not built anything else. He's rushing for that castle. He's going to go for that straight away. He's building up a standing army. He's going to be later into the castle age, but once he gets there, he'll be able to upgrade his units and doing this. And it was like, I was watching it and I was like, I remember when I used to play this, and I'd play it online as well. Like even when it was back when 56k was the best you could hope for, and everyone is at risk of disconnecting if someone fucking called you on the landline. And I remember playing it and finding it really interesting, and it was a weird mix of nostalgia for the game and also kind of experiencing that level of enthusiasm and knowle of the game at the same time.
It's the old school experience. I mean, what you just explained to me there is like how I used to play them with my mates. Like when we used to play Generals, it was like hour-long games of stupidness. It wasn't like, I mean, I remember times where there'd be like 20 nuke silos. I mean, why? You don't need 20 nuke. You could blow the whole, but you'd be like, I've got the nukes. But the game would carry on, and you'd still be fighting each other. But then you just like annihilate somebody because like fuck you, because China were the best.
Especially watching the map as well, because you'd have people like I remember specifically orange and yellow on the map. They switched sides. I'm sure they did, where they attacked each other, and they were like wiping each other out. But they were reconstructing on each other's islands as they were wiping each other out, to the point where towards partway through the game, like they'd taken over each other's land. Neither of them had died, neither of them had lost, because they'd basically just exchanged where they were. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, this is amazing. What the fuck is going on? This is crazy. Of course, the poor low-ranked players in the match got absolutely ruined. Like, they didn't know what they were doing, and they just got flattened and trampled on. It was crazy.
I sent you a link over Skype. This is I don't know. This is CNC Net. These are the guys who.
So I'll put this on the thing.
Remade. Well, they didn't. This is the multiplayer stuff for June 2000 and Red Alert and Command and Conquer, Tiberian Dawn, and all that. This is me. Unit lost. C 3v3. Somebody had uploaded the thing, the replay to it. This was probably the funnest game, RTS game I've had all year. This is a massive 3v3 June game, which my team win at the end, but it's like an immense war. Like if you just skip through it, you'll see like the units like how big the map is. It's like a crazed map. This guy's on my team, I think. Yeah, because I'm the purple team. Look at it. Look at the war. It's like a massive war.
Christ. I love shit like this though. Like when
I really like RTS games like this. Yeah.
And when you find someone who's obviously been following it since the start and they know a lot about it, and they're giving you information on stuff that you're familiar, because the thing that really got me the Age of Empires 2 is that I knew what units he was talking about. I knew which civilizations had which units, what they built out of the castle, what their upgrades were, and all that kind of thing. And it was like, it was just having all of that again, but delivered in the capacity of someone who knows exactly what they're talking about, who knows when you should be building what, why he's building that at that time. And it was just crazy. It was so much fun to watch. Your army's attacking someone now.
I murdered him. This was a good game though. I mean, this was 3v3 and everybody knew how to play the game. That was the thing. It was like, oh yes, let's go. And everybody's building all the shit, like ordering loads of stuff in on the starports, doing filthy fucking, like I had the death hand and I was launching it into the fucking enemy bases, and it was disgusting. It was disgusting. But it was a really good game. And this era of RTS games, I want it back. Yeah. Ashes of the Singularity, that looks fine. That looks like it'll be pretty good, actually. But it's still the StarCrafty, like, oh, you've got to move out your base to get resources thing. It's not like you've just got a base and then here's your resources, let's go. Yeah. Which I prefer. I like turtling up and having a fancy base.
Yeah, I like either not having to care about a base and having lots of action, or being able to turtle up in a base and kind of decide what I'm doing with my units that way. The mix of both for StarCraft is what kills it, because I just don't have the concentration for it. That's kind of why I prefer Dawn of War 2 to Dawn of War 1, because that's kind of similar, because you've got to manage your base and you've got to get your units out, whereas Dawn of War 2, I'm a lot better at managing my units out in the field than I am managing a base. So it's like, I like that because, well, I know what I'm doing with it, and I can be effective with the units that I've got, and I don't have to keep going back and double checking.
There was
built this and built that and got that upgrade and stuff.
There was a competition, a Command and Conquer competition, which I seen that was casted, and that was pretty funny because again, it was the build order thing. It was like, he's going for this, like the Grenadier something or other thing, and it was just like, what is going on? And it's like a rush, and it was mental. It was mental.
I love shit.
Crazy. Like I love it. I need to go and play CNC.
I don't know why. I've been hankering after CNC 3 again recently, but I don't know why. I enjoyed that. I
like that.
Even if the screen were a bit weird, I still liked it. It was good.
That's okay. That game, that is okay.
Generals is still the king, though.
Generals is
buy me some shoes.
It's just like, it's so offensive now on like really every level. It's like
it's just you just wouldn't
Why
be able to.
Why are you hurting me?
You would not. It's like the Chinese accents and stuff. You could not. You could not do it. You just could not do it. It is just
Well,
fun though, that game.
Let's end the show on some generals GLA quotes, and here we go. I've googled it. Yeah, so this is the peasant. He says, "I will work." This is when he comes out of the command center or a supply stash. When you select him, he just says yes, and then when he's selected, he's, "What do you want with me?" It's like.
It's
And
terrible.
then also when you select him, you'll say, "Do not hurt me." or you also say, "I will obey," or "I'm just a peasant,"
God damn.
"I'm hungry," or "Cannot we live in peace?" You see, I've got the accent down, amazing.
It actually sounds really like it.
Ow, okay, I will work. Because it was just like an American guy doing a dodgy Middle Eastern accent.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
When he moves, he just pants. Or he says, "I will go."
What does he
Or
say?
the
Buy me
classic-
some shoes.
Yeah, he says, "Buy me some shoes." But only before worker shoes have been researched, because that was an upgrade.
Yeah.
Because you could actually buy them shoes and they'd be more faster. When you move him anywhere, he could say, "Does it have to be so far?"
It's just...
And when he gets shot, he says, "I have no weapons." Or if he's getting shot, he shouts, "I am innocent." I mean, for God's sake.
God.
I mean, imagine this now. Like,
Could not do that now. You
No.
so much shit about that. Oh, right. God. It's kind of...
this hammer is heavy.
It's easy to forget how harsh it is. But at the time, it wasn't that harsh, was it? It feels like it's more harsh now.
When you order him to clear mines, you'll say, "I hope I'm still lucky today."
God damn.
Oh my God. Oh Jesus. There's actually a shitload. Where's GLA? No, China. Because the construction dose is the one with all the offensive things.
All I remember is China will grow larger.
Yeah.
That's the mammoth tank, ain't it?
I've loaded a website up that's like taking an age slow.
Even that is putting propaganda towers on tanks. It's kind of... It's a bit off, really. God damn.
Yeah, but it's just a piss take of each race. That's all it is. It's not like, okay. Oh no, that's USA. No, not USA quotes. No, construction dozer.
I'm sure the construction dozer said stuff. Or did it just
both USA and China have got construction dozers. Hang on.
Right, I see. Oh yeah, of course they do.
So China says, "China has been generous. I build for China. We have big plans. We live in prosperity."
Yeah. We have
building the Chinese empire. Remember when you click on it? Let's have a look. It will look real nice when it is done.
Yeah.
Nice location. That's a good choice. China will grow larger. That's the best one. China will grow larger.
That's not... I mean, those aren't too bad, really. These
are not as bad as the peasant.
No, the peasant is rough.
Yeah, he's just like, beyond China will grow larger. It doesn't really say anything much. It's just funny. Fucking China. USA. Oh my God. USA has got very good quotes, I don't think. He's just like, yeah, like, "Let's build new construction. Clocked in. Have a job for me." I remember all the fucking voices, man. "Sounds good. Loud and clear." "Making my own road." I remember that. "Making my own road."
It was such a good game. It was so good.
"I'll build anywhere."
It was
made in the US of A. Yeah, that was it. What was the forward operating base when you'd like change the tactic? It'd be like defense, attack.
Yeah.
And it'd say something.
I can't remember what it said now. I want to play Generals again. So the last time I tried to play it, it didn't work. So yeah.
This is an awesome end to the show.
It's turned into the longest ending ever.
So what does the terrorist say? This could be potentially quite bad.
I can't remember what I didn't play GLA.
I've got it, Blake.
I played China.
Oh, I used to play GLA Demolition General. It's like the terrorists on bikes. They were the best. it was called a demo bike because you could buy guys on bikes, right? Just normal GLA, but they weren't that good. I think you could put infantry on bikes, so you could put like a rocket guy, an RPG guy on a bike, and he'd be pretty good. But the terrorist general, the demolition general, just came with a suicide bomber on the fucking bike, and it would just drive in and explode because the bikes were so good because they could go up cliffs. So a lot of the maps, your base was on a cliff to protect it, but you could like steam up there and just blow all their buildings away with the fucking bikes was dirty. But this is what he says, the terrorist. I make the sacrifice. I am prepared. They will fear us. We must have justice. That's not too good. Our following is strong. I love a crowd. I will die for our cause.
I love a crowd.
I must position myself well. Supreme truth. I move to a secret place. When you tell him to move, I know people there. One true path. It's crazy. For the cause, he shouts as well when ordered to detonate. It's Christ. I will be remembered when you order him to attack.
Why? Just why?
I will not bow to you. I mean, it's so like politically incorrect now.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
It's just a game. It gets back to what we were talking about hotfix. You could never make this game now because you could not make it because if you had all of these quotes in, it would just be like, what is this game? Imagine the Gamergate crew coming into this. They'd be all over this, wouldn't they? When making a car bomb, preparing for deliverance.
God.
Oh, I love driving cars. Oh, let's go for a ride. Car bomb quote. Hey, what the hell? He's got quotes when he's in the car bomb. Drive her up at will. What? My car is wired up. Ready for impact. Here we go.
Oh, it's just
I
bad.
brake for nothing.
It is bad.
It's not bad. It's comedy. Oh, it's so good. Doing a video of it.
Anyway, we're gonna go now because it's like the last 15 minutes has just been General's quotes. That's what it's been.
I will work.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and take a break.
Come
back next Thursday for the next hotfix. Probably we're gonna try and get a guest in, aren't we? We're gonna try and get a guest in for hotfix.
Yeah,
so
we will. Yeah,
the delivery time might change depending on when we can get someone or who we can get. We'll work that out during the week, and we'll let you know.
Don't worry about it too much, guys. I mean, what we'll do is we'll just whenever people are available, because obviously a lot of the people I know are US based and don't really want to wake up at like 8 o'clock in the morning to record hotfix, which is understandable. So we'll see.
There's way around it, so we'll work something out. And we'll see you for the next one.
Bye bye. I will work.